Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another Stanley Director Show with three fantabulous guests, I might say. Also, I'd like to say kind of a title to this show, Screen Actors Guild Performers with Disabilities Tri-Guild Committee. All right, did I get it right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. On the left, Scott Krantz. On the right, Toby Forrest. And this lovely lady over here, Rebecca Yee, who is actually a liaison on the staff of the Screen Actors Guild. So, first of all, I got to ask you guys, well, you actors right here, Toby, why did you become an actor?
I'm a performer. I just cannot get it out of my blood. You know, I was doing psychology. I was getting a master's in psychology, and everyone said you should be an actor. I said, all right, I don't know. Well, let me try it. I like to talk more than I like to listen. I got issues with people that can't cope. So I decided to come out to LA and do it, and I was very fortunate because I won an acting scholarship right off the bat. It was a Christopher Reeve acting scholarship, which was put on through the Media Access Office, which is a great resource.
Cheat, by the way. You can cheat out there. I want you to show your point them out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's what happened. As I won a scholarship and decided to learn the craft of acting and just no turning back. So now that's what we're doing.
Okay, hey, listen there, Scott. How did you become an actor? Why this crazy business?
Well, I started acting when I was just a little kid, I think in elementary school, making films and doing old Super 8 movies and things like that. And I went to Cal Arts, Walt Disney School, studied film and video there, and had different careers through my life, but all that's left, I really just, I'm an actor, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to be out there and let people know that there are performers with disabilities and, we're a large part of society. And if you're an actor, you can get out there and be an advocate and, help other people along with their lives also.
Rebecca, can you kind of fill us in a little bit on how this committee maybe got started and what the mission maybe is on this?
Well, this committee's been long-standing. I believe it started in the 80s. It's a tri-guild committee between the Screen Actors Guild and Actors Equity and AFTRA, which is the American Federation of Radio and Television Artists. So this committee got together because just the lack of employment opportunities for performers with disabilities. And so our department, the Affirmative Action Diversity Department, provides advisory and technical support to the different committees.
Well, do you find that the producers, the production companies, are they forthcoming in saying, hey, we got plenty of jobs for you guys?
I think it's more that they're not. I think performers with disabilities aren't even in their consciousness, to be honest. They're invisible to the producers. I don't think the producers, when they're thinking about, oh, I'm going to make a movie, they're like, well, let's hire performers with disabilities. Even if there's a role with a disability, they usually hire an able-bodied performer. So I just don't think that's in their consciousness at all.
Really? Toby, you're on the set.
Toby.
I'm over here.
Hey, Stan. Whoop, over here, Scott.
Hey, Rebecca, you're looking good today.
Cane Man.
Hey, there
they
you
call
go.
you Cane Man, too.
Sure, that's my stage name, Cane Man.
But let me go over here to Toby Forrest.
I agree with Rebecca 100%. I don't fault anybody for not being aware or educated.
God,
I don't fault anybody for being unaware or uneducated. But at the same time, you want to reflect society, and art is supposed to reflect society. And if you're not giving everybody an opportunity, well, then how are you really going to find the best person for the job? If you have a character that's in a wheelchair, I don't have a problem if you're going to take an actor and throw them in there if they're a great actor and they can do that. But at the same time, give me a shot, because I might just knock them out of the ballpark.
What's your take on it there, Cane Man?
Well, obviously with my name Cane Man, I have that because I walk on a cane, so I'm in a little bit different situation. I'm not in a wheelchair, but I am disabled, I have a spinal cord injury. And when I show up on the set, normally it's not, people aren't quite sure of, my mobility to get around and safety issues with me and things, but I've never had any, personal problems with it, so.
Yeah, but I understand that you were a professional pilot. You flew airplanes. I mean, our stereotypical idea of a flyer is, well, some American airlines, I don't even know if they're in business, but some airline where the guy is really dapper and sharped up and all that, and you had a disability, didn't you?
Sure. Well, I think I can also use that toward my advantage in this business, because being an airline captain, I really broke a lot of barriers where I've never met any other pilots that had a spinal cord injury. I've met 1 or 2 pilots that had an amputated leg and they had a prosthetic leg, and they were able to do it, which was remarkable, you know, in its own. But to have somebody with, like my situation, I'm paralyzed in both the bottom of my legs, to be able to fly. So I kind of broke a lot of barriers in that, and I never messed up, so there wasn't any bad parts where, you know, people could point their fingers and say, oh, somebody with a disability, he shouldn't be doing that. And I want to be able to use that kind of energy that I used into becoming a pilot in this entertainment career of mine now. And get out and show people and say, look, just give me a chance. I could do the part. I could do the job. And I think that's all, everybody here, that's all we're asking for, is don't look at the people like they have a disability. They're just, you know, we're just regular people. We're just like everybody else, and we just want to be out there and work and be in society and be active, you know, like you and cameramen and everybody here.
Well, I think everybody, in all honesty, has some sort of disability, perhaps in a subtle sense to some, and
Sure.
Obviously I have it overtly because my foot is always being stuck in my mouth when I talk, you know.
Well,
Flexible. You know.
well, that's part of the thing too. I mean, we're just a small representation here. Really, we figured in our committee there's 5 different groups with disabilities. There's learning, there's speech, there's hearing,
Visually impaired.
sight,
Mobility impaired.
Well, Rebecca, how many members, do you have the statistics on who are disabled in the
That's a good
SAG?
question. Yes and no. I mean, we do have numbers, but we don't think they're accurate because people, especially people who have invisible disabilities, we don't believe they're reporting, and not even to their union. And all the information we get is confidential, but there's just this fear if I report that I have a disability, it's going to ruin my opportunities for jobs and for career advancement, and so they won't do it. So we believe there's more people in our union that has disabilities, but they're not reporting it. So,
Well,
right
an interesting thing is I'm also in the Writers Guild. Don't hold it against me. But
No, you supported
it's a good
us.
thing.
that's right, and I still support you because I'm also in SAG too, which I'm very proud of, my first union, Screen Actors Guild. But the Writers Guild also has a committee on disabilities,
They do.
and they meet, I think, once a month. And I really have to kind of brush up on what they are doing. But I wanted to ask Rebecca, is there a kind of is there a backlash from we'll say outside SAG for forming these kind of diverse committees that deal with disabilities?
No. I have to say no backlash in terms of dealing with committees with disabilities. I also work with 6 other committees, and they're all of protected groups: women, seniors, performers of color, LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And I actually don't. I don't get too much flack for it at all. Once in a while, you get someone who will call and say, you know, like a white mobile man, he's like, why aren't you helping me, you know, but very seldomly. I think everyone pretty much understands that there's so few opportunities for these groups of people.
Right. Well, Scott, you know, I'm kind of curious. Is there a particular part that you would like to play or have played or
Well-
would dream of playing, okay?
I'll set it out there. My dream role is to be in a comedy with Chris Rock, and you can wheel me around in a wheelbarrow, and we'll just go from there.
I'll do it, but I don't need the wheelbarrow. I got the wheelchair.
Toby, go ahead.
I envision, I would love to be the bad guy. I mean, I would love to, you know, of course, be the good guy, but I really would love to be the bad guy and
You'd be a good
have a
bad
little
guy.
psychosis. But ultimately, I think, I don't know if this was going to be your next question. We had talked about it a little bit before, but I envision like a movie where everyone in the movie has a disability, but you don't see the disability until the closing credits of the movie. And then that's when you find out the guy crossing the street is blind, the girl behind the counter is in a wheelchair, and it really takes the perception of disability and casts it aside and says, let me show the talent, and then I'll expose the disability. Again, it kind of falls into that thing where we've got actors that are not willing to show themselves. We had a president, one of our greatest presidents, who had a disability, who didn't want to show it. And when he finally did, it made more of an impact than I think really any other example has of someone with a disability who had the ability to run a country, the ability to affect lots of people. And so I think that's what we're here to do, is to affect lots of people.
I'm not going to ask a loaded question.
And we were speaking of the same thing, like in a theater show, where perhaps somebody's in a wheelchair, but in the show they might be like laying on a sofa, or maybe somebody's on the floor, or somebody's sight impaired, and they do the whole scene, and then afterwards you don't realize they have a disability until after the show is over, when somebody would take the person out of the bed and place them in the chair, or somebody would come over and get somebody off the floor and help them get to where they were trying to go.
I've had people write me and say, "God, you play a guy in a wheelchair really well." All right, well, it wasn't a far stretch for me. So.
That's a very interesting point that you guys just brought up. Rebecca, is there any way that the Screen Actors Guild could, say, get in touch with the motion picture
AMPTP,
producers?
yeah.
Yeah, there's too many letters for me to remember. See, but is there any way that they can let those gentlemen know that there are other ways in which they can use their creativeness to portray actors with disabilities, such as these gentlemen are talking about?
Well, we have been communicating with them for many, many years on different issues that affect performers with disabilities. They're aware. I think it's just, the AMPTP, they're an umbrella group, but a lot of producers under them need to be educated. I don't think there's still a lot of ignorance out there, and maybe even unwillingness. But we've been communicating with the AMPTP quite frequently to advocate for the.
I mean, in the communications, have you said, "Hey, golly, Mr. Forrest said, a guy lying on a couch," or was it you, Scott, that said that? How do you like that? See that? Short term. But go ahead. I mean,
absolutely. We encourage that type of casting. Not only do we want producers to cast disabled roles with performers with disabilities, but we also want just them to be in regular roles, just a person walking down the street, someone sitting on the couch, just regular roles, because we want it to reflect how the American society is. And if there's 56 million Americans with a disability and only like 1 or 2 performers with disabilities working daily on TV, it's not a correct or accurate representation.
So have you been, contacting WGA and telling them, "Hey guys, how about trying to
collaborate?"
Yeah, we're working. We
are. We're putting together a PR campaign on behalf of the committee. It's called I Am PWD, which stands for Inclusion in the Arts and Media of People with Disabilities, and WGA is one of our partners.
Oh.
So we're working together, and we have tons of groups also.
Yeah, mention a few, because I'd like our vast audience. By the way, www.la36.org. Eventually, all over the world, this show will be seen. So.
Yeah, it's a national campaign. So we have the Writers Guild, Media Access Office, Alliance for Inclusion in the Arts, which is in New York, Down Syndrome in Arts and Media, Performing Arts Studio West, and Media Image Coalition. So far, and that's and we're getting bigger.
You guys have any other things to throw on this fire?
Well, part of the whole issue here, there's kind of a twofold issue. One is we're saying we want to have roles for actors with disabilities. So for instance, if there's a role for a person on a cane or in a wheelchair or a blind person, or hearing impaired, we want to be able to have basically first rights to be able to go out to audition for those roles. But we don't want to be stereotyped in them either. We want to be able to audition like you or anybody else for any roles, because we're just part of all society. And people with disabilities have all kinds of different jobs and different, situations in life. So we just want to be able to portray everyday life as everybody else.
My friend Mr. Forrest here also does a little song. Actually, he does song and dance.
I sing in a band. I sing in a rock funk band called Citizen, and you know, that's another area of I'm not sure how people see it. You know, I go to a bar and they go, "Hey, it's great to see that you're out."
Terribly cruel.
It's great to see that you're out. I don't know that if I look like that, but and then when I get up on stage, the look on people's faces is priceless. And I think I get a little bit of that from acting too, but it's really about passion, and passion can override any physical obstacle. So if you're passionate and you have the training and you have the talent to be a good actor or a good singer or a good dancer, performer, whatever it is, you just have to go out there and tackle the world. I think that people with disabilities are scared to do that. A lot of them are scared because the world's going to look at them and judge them. And guess what? Like Scott says, we all get looked at, we all get judged, and just go out there and do your craft and make a difference.
Toby, sing us a little of that gospel song. Come on. Got it on the spot. Go ahead, you sang it. Come on, folks. It's off the cuff.
I'm just going to do the chorus for you.
You got it.
Which is, I said, Lordy, 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 oh my God. He's a holy, 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 holy kind of love. I said, Lordy, 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 oh my God. He's a holy, 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 holy kind of love.
And what is the chorus, guy?
That was it for you.
Oh, gee,
I don't do that type of music. I do funk, rock, hip hop, reggae. So
I have to have you come and sing with me, doing a little rap, hip hop
do
one
that.
day.
Hey, let me hear you sing a little rap. Come on, give us something
little bit of rap.
impromptu. Go ahead.
It's called Who's the Guitar God Now?
Okay.
My drummer's in jail and I gotta play with my drum machine. All guitarists I know I got no balls, they don't even play slop. Bassists keep showing up, they're all from Florida. Now it's just me as a guitar god playing my slop. Who's the guitar god now? Now.
Now. Who's the guitar guy now?
See, it's catchy.
Now.
Catchy.
Yeah, hey, it really
Look
is.
at
Hey, Rebecca,
Yes.
did you ever want to be an actress?
No.
sing us something.
No, but I love working with actors. They're great.
Dance?
Yeah, back in the day, maybe a little bit of dancing.
Tap dancing? Or?
When I was a kid, I took ballet, but.
So this has got to be like a gig that you love doing.
I do love doing it. I love working with people, and I've been at the Guild for now like 3 years, and I really love actors. They're great, very passionate people.
And thank goodness for people like her, because otherwise, we're just a voice and sort of a face, and there's a lot of fantastic performers with disabilities. I mean, you've got people like Robert David Hall, who's on CSI, and is really sort of an image out there for us, and people like Danny Murphy, who's doing movies with the Farrelly brothers, and they're sort of breaking barriers. And when they have an actor they're going to throw in and that has a disability, I don't know that they've ever not done a movie where they haven't used someone else in another role that has the actual disability. And that's a profound impact. And it's people like that can make decisions and help us, people like Rebecca, that are going to help fight the good fight and make a difference. And that's what we want to do.
Scott, who are some of the other people that help actors? I'm talking about personalities, names that you know of off the top of the head.
I know
we're not
that
going to bash anybody.
No, I know that John Wells Productions has done a lot of, ER with Down syndrome. They've used. And we have Teal Shears on our committee. She's an actress, and myself.
Right.
And then you've got, organizations.
Media Access Office has done a lot of work. That's through the state of California. And that's run by Gloria Castaneda down here in Southern California. They have a list of probably about 900 to 1,000 disabled actors. And they run different acting classes, seminars, auditions. Matter of fact, right now it's coming up, it's due in about another week, ABC Diversity as a program where they audition, they have for different groups, but this group coming up is for disabled actors.
Did you guys study acting, by the way? I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Where, or how, or in Hollywood, or?
I did in Florida. I studied improv, and that's how I started off. And then I had won an acting scholarship, and I said,
Right, you mentioned that.
what do
See,
I do?
that,
So I went to Larry Moss Studios and studied there and sort of cut my teeth there. And got cast in a play there, and then got cast in a major play and did that in Pittsburgh, and then really sort of cut my teeth on the stage as well as in classes.
And you?
I studied a lot of comedy. I worked with Greg Dean, Judy Carter, and Mark Leno. And Mark used to own the Improv with Bud Friedman.
Right, sure.
And I did Second City. And I've also we both worked in a group called Happy, which is run by Otto Felix. And I've studied with casting director,
David
Zimmerman
is
Corey Allen.
Corey Allen's a great director, also an actor who I worked with at one time.
Sure,
and,
he's
The Guild has worked with him too. We have
yes,
made
and he's a very big advocate for us. So, you know, he has
probably
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's. right. Sorry,
okay.
Corey.
Yeah, I've had have a couple of friends who have Parkinson's, and we write together actually. So
Right along. And
it's you know, the point is, I mean, we all need a hand in some way. You know, a helping hand, I guess you might say, or an advocate.
Right. So he's definitely an advocate for us, along with David Zimmerman, who runs an acting class, specializing, you know, with disabled actors, and it meets every week. There's a large group of people that work with him. Matter of fact, he won a Media Access Award for all of his work with us.
Oh, really? That's good to know, because my next question is, how did you get inspired? That's what I mean. Who inspired you? What actors out there inspired? Was it Lionel Barrymore? I mean, that's an old cliche, but he was in a wheelchair. He played his roles in a wheelchair. In your consciousness.
Well, you can go back, when you think of that, I think of like Raymond Burr in Ironside. But he wasn't, was he actually in a wheelchair? That was just his character.
That was his character, but I also think that he kind of desired to be in a wheelchair.
I think that, I mean, you've got the obvious examples. You've got like Marlee Matlin, who, you know, there's really two actors with disabilities that have won Oscars. Now, one was in the 40s, and one was in the 80s.
Harold Russell in the 40s,
Are we going to have to wait another 10, 20 years before a performer with a disability is going to be able to portray someone similar to themselves and, you know, do it to such a great extent that they're going to, you know, get an Oscar? I hope not. I hope it's going to happen a lot sooner than that.
I got to ask you guys, our show is kind of getting to a close, believe it or not. It goes so fast. Wow. Some words of inspiration to others who may be watching the show.
I would say just live your dream. As long as you can have a dream, just stay with it, follow it all the way to the end. And I was reading something that came today, actually it was through Media Access in one of their emails, and it said they were talking about having something to fall back on, and it's kind of a false premise. Don't fall back. Just live your dream and go ahead and make it happen.
Go ahead.
I agree with Scott. I think, one, if you have a disability and you want to go out and become an actor, contact the Media Access office. Find out how to do it, and don't be afraid to go do it. If you are a producer, a writer, anyone on the other end of the spectrum, just open up your mind, open up the eyes, and see that there's a lot of talent that can portray what you need to have portrayed. And it's about creating the art. So let's create some art together.
Definitely.
Rebecca, how can the audience out there help us get some work?
I think be part of our campaign. We're going to roll it out in October, and to support that and to get your friends to support it, and just we want to make it big. We want to create visibility. And I think that's our main goal.
Should they contact SAG?
Oh, absolutely. They should contact our Affirmative Action Department. Do you want me to give them the number or the
Why
email?
not? Sure. Yeah.
Well,
sure.
The email is at diversity@sag.org, but the phone number is 323-549-6644.
Very good. Hey, guys, you know, it's really been a joy to be with you. And I got to say, you know, I remember Scott Krantz, and I remember Toby Forrest. I remember Rebecca Yee. Hey, I must be improving. You guys have just...
Stanley Director.
Stanley Director. Oh. Thank you very much for giving us a chance to get the word out.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, You heard it here. Get on it. Make those calls. Let's get people work. Let's have equal opportunity for all. Goodbye. God bless. Love you. And we'll see you again next time.